I mean, honestly, I've talked about this before, but the reason I made Versus Stability was basically it's just me, like, I was getting kind of frustrated at people who say, like, oh, Ballistic and MILF are impossible, when I know for a fact that there are way harder songs than that in rhythm games. So, Versus Stability was basically just me saying, hey, idiots, this is what a real rhythm gaming challenge looks like. That's the long and short of my thought process behind Versus Stability. Bullshit, I'm FC'd MILF on Clone Hero? Yeah, true. I mean, there's still tons of... Even with Week 7 out, I watched Tokaku's video on Week 7. There's still a lot of issues with Friday Night Funkin'. Like, the latency problem... As far to my knowledge, the latency problem still has not been fixed. They still have not fixed the latency problem in Friday Night Funkin'. Where, like, if you want to get good scores, you're forced to hit every single note early. They haven't fixed that. Exactly. They haven't fixed the latency issues with they have not fixed the latency issues in Friday Night Funkin', among other things. So there's still tons of problems with the game, but I do have faith that they'll be able to solve all those problems. Especially I know Friday Night Funkin' is made in a game engine called like Haxflixel or something like that, but even though Haxflixel has like tons of like export options and stuff like that, it's honestly it's really not a proper game engine. I think if they want Friday Night Funkin' to be able to go anywhere, and if they want it to have all the potential they want it to have, I think they have to rebuild the game in a proper engine like Unity or something like that. Unity, or maybe even... Wait, is Unreal even capable of making 2D games? I need to look this up. Paper 2D is a sprite-based system for creating 2D and 2D 3D hybrid games within Unreal. So Unreal does have plugins that allow you to make 2D games in it. So, if they really wanted to, they could rebuild Friday Night Funkin' in Unreal. They could rebuild Friday Night Funkin' in Unreal if they wanted, but I think realistically, they're probably going to rebuild it in, in Unity, if they do decide to rebuild it. Because, I mean, as much as capable as Haxflixel is, it's kind of in a similar vein to Game Maker, if you know what Game Maker is like. Because I've worked with Game Maker before, and I know you can make a lot of amazing things with Game Maker. I mean, after all, Undertale and Valhalla were made in Game Maker, and those are both great games. But unless you, like, know the game engine you're using inside out, if it's a super basic game engine like Game Maker or Haxflixel, you're not really going to get anywhere with your game. So I think the best solution to giving Friday Night Funkin' all the potential that the team seems to want it to have is to eventually figure out how to port it to a proper game engine like Unity or Unreal. And I think Unity and Unreal are the only ones I'm describing as proper game engines because those are the only ones I know of. But I think there's some other professional game engines that people use as well. Let me look it up, and I'll see if there are any others. Okay, so there's Unity, Unreal, and then there's also one called CryEngine 3, apparently. What game engine was Ace Combat? Oh, never mind. I remember what game engine Ace Combat 7 was made in. I think Ace Combat 7 was made in Unreal. Yeah, Ace Combat 7 was the first Ace Combat game to use Unreal Engine 4. So they made Ace Combat 7 in Unreal. Yeah, so... Yeah, in short, I believe that if they were to find a way to port Friday Night Funkin' to a proper game engine, which will have limited porting capabilities, because one of Haxflixel's big selling points is that, you know, you can port it to almost anything. I mean, a Haxflixel game can be a Windows executable, an OS X app, a Flash game, an HTML5 game. You can port it to mobile and so on, which is great, but because of all those different ports you can do with Haxflixel, I imagine that reduces the number of things you can do with the game you're making, because it has to have fewer capabilities in order to be able to support all those different platforms and be universally cross-compatible. So they might sacrifice a little bit of platform compatibility if they port Friday Night Funkin' to a proper game engine like Unity or Unreal. But I think porting it to a proper engine would be the best way to fix all the problems with the game. So that's my very long-winded 2 cents on how you can fix most or all of the problems with Friday Night Funkin'. But again, that's just my opinion, and I fully admit I do not know even half as much about game development as the Friday Night Funkin' team. So I don't know if a port to Unity or Unreal would be either impossible or it would just take too much effort for them to be bothered at this stage, because, I mean, they already have 7 weeks done for Friday Night Funkin'. But if they are capable of doing it, if they have the time and the resources, I do think they should consider porting the game to a proper engine. At the very least, they should find a way to get rid of VSync, because Friday Night Funkin' is capped at 60 FPS on some versions because of VSync, I think. So at the very least, you could probably fix some of the latency problems by getting rid of VSync.